Let's improve a little bit our circle target game here. We can call it that. And let's try to move on to the next level where we have actually different multiple circle in our scene. And we try to detect not only if the mouse pointer is inside or outside any circle, but also if it's inside or outside one of those circles. And we want to make sure that this scales with the number of circles that we have. So we're going to modify things a little bit here, obviously. So I did already change the name of the class to TargetCircles, plural. I'm going to save that so that I don't override my previous file. And now I'm going to say, okay, instead of having a single circle, I'm going to have an array of circles, and I'm going to call these my targets, okay? And I'm going to use an array block initializer here to create all of those circle objects. So it's going to be easy, new circle. All right, let's think a minute about the coordinates. So I'm going to keep a radius of 50. So I'm going to put my first circle completely to the left. I'm going to keep the same y coordinate I had before and the same radius. But now I am going to create, let's say, 2 more circles. Okay, and those 2 more circles, delete a sort of junk here. There we go. Those 2 more circles, I'm going to space them. So I'm going to put them next to one another with, let's say, 10 pixel difference. So that means that this one will be at 110 letter. So that's a little too big here. There we go. And this one is going to be 110 more to the right as well. So that should give us something like 3 targets equally spaced in our pane. All right, now we need to set the, we need to do a few things. We need to set the field color, we need to set the stroke color for all of them, and we need to all of them add them to the get children of the pane. So pretty much what we need to do is repeat this, and I'm going to call them my target T, okay? Repeat this for all circle T in targets, the array targets. Okay, that should look nice. So obviously I'm not calling any method on the object circle that doesn't exist anymore. I'm using T, which is from my iteration here. Setting the color, adding to the pane, then I create here my text. That's still good. I need to add the text also to the pane, so I still need to keep that. And that's it pretty much. Okay, so I'm not going to do anything right now to change the text to detect which circle I'm in. All I want to do right now is make sure that this is displaying, well, first it's compiling, which it's not, okay. So yes, that test here is not going to work for us anymore. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to comment this for now, okay, just to get it to compile, and then test this first milestone, and then we'll come back and do the test here correctly. Compilation is okay, let's run. That looks good, 3 circles. Okay, outside, and of course it's not detecting anything useful right now, okay, but at the very least we have our 3 circles here. So the next step is for us to handle that test here. So we want to determine which circle we are actually inside of. So let me uncomment all of this to start off with. Okay, so by default we are going to say, well, we're going to say we are outside of any circle. Okay, so I'm going to rewrite this a little bit. txt equal outside. So that's going to be the default message that I'm going to put in that text field, okay? So that means that at some point here, I'm going to have text.setText, and I'm going to set it to whatever my text is, and I'll modify that if I need to. I'm going to get rid of this too, because I'm going to use the x and y coordinate several times. So might as well, you know, just call e.getx one time, save it here, and then use it everywhere I need it. And same thing goes for e.getY. So I'm going to get rid of that once and for all, get my code a little bit more less repetitive. Okay, let's let's indent. Okay, so I have default text. Okay, I set the default text here, and then I have X and Y, and I'm not doing anything useful here really regarding detecting things. Okay, so because I have an arbitrary number of circles, I need to do something like I did, you know, when I was actually setting all the attribute. So I'm going to iterate over all the circles that are stored right now in my target. Okay, and what I'm going to do inside, I'm balancing out my, my curly braces here. What I'm going to do inside is I'm going to do the same test, okay, but I'm going to do it on T. So if T contains, and I don't need to repeat this, so I can simplify a bit here. Let's see, where does that end? That ends here, I think, yeah. So X and Y have been already taken from the event E. So if that specific circle contains X and Y, then I set the text to inside. And for now, I'm not going to say which circle, okay, contains my mouse. I'm just trying to differentiate between inside and outside. That's a nice next milestone, you know, for my work. So let's run this, test it. Okay, all of this is outside, and we are still outside, so I messed up something here. I didn't update my text properly. Let's take a look, okay? Yes, I set my text to inside, and then I set it back to outside, so that's what's not working out. But if I change actually the text variable, like I should have done to start off with, then I get something much nicer, right? There we go, let's save, build, run. Okay, how does that work? Outside, inside, outside, inside. You can see briefly here when I'm between the circle, I go back outside. So yeah, this is working a lot nicer. So now the last step of my work is I need to determine which target I am actually in when I move the mouse. So I could revert back to a loop with indexes, you know, but what I'm going to do instead is I'm going to say, okay, this is a number of my target, okay? I start iterating on the first circle, so the number is going to be 1. And then here I'm going to put a message that say I am inside target number and the number of the target, right? And all I have to do is, as I iterate over those things here, okay, I can increment actually my value for n. So I'm kind of like grafting on top of an enhanced for loop, you know, a good old-fashioned index counter, except that I chose to start it at 1 because that makes more sense for my message. And I increment it every time, and then if I detect that I'm inside of a circle, there we go. I'm going to have this nice message that say I am inside target number n. So that's the theory. Let's see in practice. Compilation. Run it, and we're going to test it. So I am outside any target, inside target number 1. So far so good. Outside target 2, outside target 3. I can shuffle it a bit here. Yeah, it's keeping track nicely. Okay. So a few more things that you can do is you can try to, you could use, for example, a you could actually try to spread those targets like centered, or accept an arbitrary number of target and then spread them equally over the screen in different rows, stuff like that. I mean, you can play with this example, you know, just to enhance it a little bit, but the base functionality that were required in the exercise are there.